Okay, great. So let's go to question 126. We'll do 126 to 130. Another profile question, and just watch it carefully, that's all. So it says here, public authority, I'm sure you've read it. Make sure please you have a go before you watch the video. Start pay 35,800. They're going to get this increment of 400. There's some more news though. So the increments, it tells you, are awarded from the 1st of April, but then they get pay award 4% from the 1st of July. So again, I'm just going to go to my spreadsheet because I feel you almost need just to make sure we get it right. So if you look in here, what I've done very carefully here is this. Okay, so employee 1, we see that I could write employee 1 here. I'm not going to, but I'm sure you know one. This is employee 1, if you like, employee 1, the first employee with 35,800. So it says that he gets 35,800 and an increment of 400. So that's what he gets at the beginning, and we're going to spread that over 12 months. And so we start and we go all the way here, but it says that they get a pay rise from the 1st of July. So I stop in June because I'm going to have to do some recalculation in July. So you can see that we sort of do everything in bulk and divide by 12 so we can get the monthly profile. This is the outturn, cash as it's happening, cash. Just pretend it's happening as you're going along. So then we have the second guy who is pretty much just 24,600 divided by 12 months. Right, and then we have the last guy who is he gets 20,192 plus the 200 divided by 12, and we stop in June for all of them. That's the monthly. Then it says here that they get this. Oh, I thought I calculated that. Oops, sorry. Let me cut just to prove what's happening here. So basically, it now says that they now get a 4% pay rise. So what is that 4% pay rise? That 4% pay rise is here we are. So it's I'm going to do 35,800 plus, of course, the 400 because that's what they are now. Means they get, because it's a pay rise, right? So we get that, and I'm going to multiply that by 1.04. It's a pay rise. So that's what they do. But I'm going to have to divide that, of course, because that's the whole thing. Starting afresh, they get that. That's the new pay, his full pay. I'm going to divide that by 12 months. Oops. Yeah, and that's how I get my 3173. Can you see that? So that's what he's currently on, and then he gets the 4% increase. Fine, but I need to find out what it is monthly because I'm recording it from a monthly point of view, right? And here it just says that he gets the 24,600, and he gets a pay rise as well of 1.04, right? I'm just going to divide that by 12 as well. You can see that's 2132. And the same thing here. I literally do exactly the same thing here. I will do if you like equals 20,192 plus 200. So you just have to just follow it very carefully so that you don't 0.14, and then I'm going to, well, really that all of that I need to divide by 12, but it's just easier for me, I guess, because I'm in class, so I'm on a computer, so I can do that. And I just drag that down. If you drag all of that down, and that's what it would be like, right, every month. So just think of your own pay. If you got that pay rise, it'll be calculated across your year salary, but you just get it monthly, right? And when you add all this together, which is what this question is asking. The question is asking, what is the profiled budget? So what's the budget all the way to August? And when you add all this together, try and see if I can bring down my screen a little so you can see the sum figure showing in the corner over here. Can you see that over there? 34,370. So all of that adds up to 34,370. Just take that back up because it. Oops, sorry. Yeah, that's right. Okay, great. So that's how you do this, right? That's how you deal with that one. And so the answer becomes B, right? The answer is B for that one. That's 126. The answer is B, 126. Okay, great. So let's count to 127. Oh, sorry, 129. So with 129, what we have here is, it says here that we have a few people, exactly the same sort of thing. We're preparing this on a zero-based analysis. The financial year starts on the 1st of April. Read the question again so that when I go to the slides, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm looking at. So this is how this works again for my friend over here. So he, our head librarian, starts off with this salary of 24,200. It says so in the question, right? And then our assistant librarian starts off with 16,400. It says they're going to get paid this pay rise on the 1st of July. So I'll just calculate what they're getting monthly up till June, and then in July you can see I give them each the pay rise and then divide by 12 again. I give them each the pay rise and then divide by 12 and then drag that all the way down. Then I have this pension. It tells me that they're given a pension of 10% on each of their salaries. You can see that's 0.1 times that, and that's the same thing, 0.1 times that. So that's the salary of 10%. And I literally add the whole thing together, literally add everything down, because it wants the budget for the entire year. It wants the budget for the entire year. And so the budget for the entire year comes to, let's sit down there, 45, which is roughly 46,000, which is B in the exam, in the question page. So what you have to do is just systematically, slowly calculate what's going on. We need to do it month by month. That's the skill here, doing it monthly. Okay, great. So question 130 is the beginning of this sort of, just taking you there. So that's that. So question 130 is the beginning of this whole thing with the fixed price method and the outturn. So the outturn is what we've been doing so far, straight cash method. Key point here is that with the fixed method, we do not take these forecasts. We only deal with what's happened. We don't take forecasts into account. We might put some sort of contingency, and in your exam this typically is to do with inflation. But normally the fixed price method is based on a sort of, in England, in the public sector, typically if you're setting budgets for 2015, because our finance year is April to March, so if you're setting budgets for 2015, April to March 2016, you will use the prices that we knew at 2014 of November, right? On the 31st of November, those prices that existed for whatever it is we're talking about are the prices that are going to go into this budget. We exclude any sort of pay rises or pay awards happening on the 1st of April here when we're not interested. That's the outturn method that takes those into account. But the fixed price method says what is going on, what exactly is happening the November before the April. That's what you should be putting into your budget. And there's a stability about it, because we don't have to be shifting with figures all the time, but we just work with that. So whatever the person has received up till then, that whatever they're receiving, whatever their standard contract is at this date, is what goes in to that system. Okay, great. So let's look at this question. So it says here that this is currently, so this question says, how much greater would the staff budget for the 1st of April to the 31st of March be if the outturn basis was used instead of the fixed price method? So just to kind of draw a timeline here, this is what we have currently here at November 2014. So for my 16-17 budget, I will be this is April, by the way, April 16. I'll be putting in what's happening at November 2015. That's the question you want to ask. What's happening at November 2015? This is about the fixed price budget. Well, at November 2015, the admin staff had already been awarded this 7%. Production staff had received this 5% pay award. So these are fine. whatever the results, whatever the improvements are based on anything happening November 2015 is what will go in to my fixed budget if I was using the fixed price method in my April 16-17 budget. The outturn method goes one step further. The outturn method takes into account all the other additional forecasts. Fixed pricing doesn't. So let's look at that, right? That's the key, and once you get that, you're fine. So November 14, that's what the scenario is. It's in the text. We take that out. So I say, well, what's happening November 15? Well, it says these guys were given a 5% pay rise, and they were also given a 7% pay rise. Admin staff were given a 7% pay rise. These guys were given a 5% pay rise. So as far as my budget's concerned, those are the figures for my fixed pricing budget. That's that, right? That's exactly what's going on. But my outturn method goes one step further. It says, well, yes, thank you very much. We know this, but we also know that, I'll take these guys first. It also says that these guys received a 2% pay rise. They will be given, it is expected, it is this expectation. So we include expectations with cash basis. I'm going to put here expectations. Expectations. So additional expectations creep in. So we now know, yes, thank you very much, we have this, but in addition, so you can see straight away that the cash basis is always higher than your fixed price because we bring in these expectations. So we have this expectation of 2%, take 2% on top of that, and add that 2% onto this, right? Because it's happening as it is happening, and that happened on the 1st of April. Admin staff got that. Admin staff got the extra 2%, if you look in the question, and production staff got 3%, but they got 3% on the 1st of December. So they got 3% only for 4 months of the year. So I can't include the full 3%. I can only include 3% of their salaries for 4 months, which is what I'm doing here. So I'm sort of saying, well, I've got the actual figure, and I'll just take 3% of the figure and just get 4 months of it, because the 3% is for a whole year. I need to find 4 months of it and then add that on, which is why I now have that. So my new total is this, and the difference between, if you like, the cash basis and the fixed pricing is what we now have as this minus this, which gives us 27,500, which brings us to B. So hopefully that's good. That sort of helped you with that. So the key point, remember, the fixed pricing doesn't take expectations into account and takes what's happening as at the November before the actual beginning of the financial year. Whatever those current prices are or the current agreements, that's what it takes. As opposed to the cash basis that literally will partition and go into the months as you go along. Okay, great stuff. And that takes us to question 130, and I'll see you in the next set of videos.